it's adding on, let's wait. Because once the numbers get stable, then we will have it. Because technical, let's wait.
We'll just wait for 1 more minute and then start. We welcome you all to the export compliance knowledge session by AMTOI along with FFFAI and BCBA. This is going to be a fantastic session, a lot to learn from the experts of the industry. And we request all of you to please place your questions only on Q&A box so that we can take up it at the end of the session. So over to Shantanu, sir.
Thanks, Priya, and welcome everyone. From the participation which is rising, we can see this will be one of the most successful sessions we had. And the only reason why we have such a wonderful response and participation is because of our faculty. Shankar Shinde is the chairman of FFFAI. He is also chairman of IFCBA. So we can say he is the senior most leader in our industry today. And I've known him for last 20 years. And I think we couldn't have looked for a better person for this position. Following him is Dushyant, who is president of BCBA and chairman-elect or senior vice chairman of FFFAI. He is more often in customs for doing others' work than he is in office or customs to do his work. When I say others, this includes associations, which includes associations where he is president, vice chairman, but equally we have taken Dushyant to customs and CBIC, the board, for AMTOI issues. So he has been a great source of network for us. So we have two eminent speakers, and all I would like to say about the topic is these are issues of our livelihood. These are real-time, real issues as are reported to FFFAI, BCBA, AMTOI. Please don't be under impression bad things happens to others and not to us. It can happen to everyone. We have all gone through it, and being in federation, association, we get such reports every day. These are times when you have to be careful. And when I say careful, I have been working since 1981, so that's 42 years. And today I find working very harder. Not just working is harder, we are actually under stress of not making any mistakes. So it's very critical that every single person is well trained. And today CBLR regulations clearly specify that any G card holder himself is accountable in personal capacity. So I would advise everyone who is not the owner, but a G card owner or any other card owner to be very careful. Please avoid multitasking, concentrate on what is at the proceeding so that you don't put yourself in trouble, your company in trouble, your customer in trouble. So with this, I would say I would just like to have 3 more introductions. The introduction was done by Priya. She is AMTOI NRC Northern Region Convener, upcoming leadership in AMTOI. Same with Arun, is Honorary Secretary, and Vasant, who is Western Region Co-Convener. And all of them are active in our training institute or training subcommittee. Please contact them and contact them 24/7. Make them work for you. Contact them for any difficulty. I can assure you they will be the most responsive people. With this, I think I go back to Priya for taking the meeting forward or the webinar forward.
So we also have Mr. Srimali here. So can I request Shankar sir to introduce him and also say a few words?
Thank you, Priya. In fact, welcome Srimali sir and Mr. Shantanu ji, who has been also the chairman of FFFAI, president of AMTOI, and the industry leader who everybody are aware of, and who has also been the past chairman of IFCBA. Heading on various organizational leadership, we are just his follower. He is our mentor. From time to time, we have been taking the advice to take it forward. Thank you, Shantanu, for your kind introduction. Along with us, we also have AMTOI team, Mr. Arunji, Priyaji, Vasantji, and thanks Srimali for joining us at this juncture, which is a very important seminar. In fact, this webinar will bring us very seriousness about the issues, and it is you, none other than you, who can really showcase as to how serious the issues are. So thanks for joining us. My colleague, Mr. Dushyantji, and also my members, AMTOI members and FFFAI members who have joined on the webinar. Thank you for joining. This is important. This shows the numbers of participation who have joined the webinar. Shows the seriousness what the trade is really having today and facing, and how important it is for the AMTOI to have this session and sensitize members as to how it really works and what are the important aspects of exports. We just take it for granted. Government is completely under persuading and trade facilitation measures in promoting exports. At the same time, customs is also under the pressure to facilitate all the exports. And we, as a custom brokers or the logistic service providers, are always under the pressure from both the sides. Why the exports can be held up, why it has to be held up, and the compliance level on the other side. So we try to facilitate the trade within the law compliance of the framework of the legal framework of the law. So how to balance this, both the aspect is the most important thing what I see. And that is why we thought having this webinar is a very important, and thanks to AMTOI for organizing this webinar. My dear friends, I would request you to take this very seriously, because when CV speaks to any of the customers or the friends or the colleagues in the industry, it is not taking that seriously. And other than taking it seriously, they are pressuring, no, you get it clear and everything is in order, without getting into the seriousness of the issues, and later on they feel the pinch. There are important steps which you should have a complete checklist on each and every document before you accept any documents, while you are running down the shipments and post shipments. So all these three methodology has to be adopted, has to be done with a due diligence checklist, which you will undergo during the webinar session, which Mr. Dushan, my colleague, will explain you in detail. And let us have a deliberation. If there is something which is not able to pursue or not able to understand, we are here to explain into detail. My dear friends, this will help us to gain confidence within the customs also and within the trade also. So it is very important. When we do our homework properly, I think so then that is the best thing what we can where we can showcase our services and our strength to the customs, who can rely upon us as an assessing officer, because under the self-assessment, the responsibilities are just being passed from the customs to us, and then we stand as an assessment officer, as an equivalent assessment officer, where we need to take that cognizance of the seriousness of the issues when it comes at the later stage. The AU programs which are being implemented makes us more responsibility and accountable as we form the part of the compliance, and as we have to play a very important role in the whole system. Any mishaps, any mishandling, any compliances which you go against it or by any of the stakeholders who are in the whole supply chain system, it affects not only as an individual, but it affects the organization, the stakeholders in the whole supply chain, and not limiting to that, it also affects the families of the organization who are working in that industry. So, my dear friends, as we have a good advantage being on the WCO platform, we have good advantage of taking it to the PSCG, to the World Customs Organization. From time to time, we do have such meetings. If we are not able to sort out here, we'll try to adopt the best practices across the world and also propose to our government with the CBIC as to what is the best practices we can adopt in tender. With this, I would like to conclude here and request Priya to take it forward. Thank you, Priya. You are muted, Priya.
Yeah, so over to Dushyantji over to Dushyantji for the presentation.
So, good afternoon, all. Thank you, AMTOI, Mr. Success Master, President, IPP, Mr. Shantanu Bhatkamkarji. We have Mr. Arun Kumar, who's the Honorary Secretary, Ms. Priya Anil Thomas, Northern Region Convener, Mr. Vasant Pathak, Western Region Convener, all friends, and the biggest guest of all today with us, Deputy Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Srimali Suresh Sir, is currently posted at Air Cargo Complex, Mumbai, and I must thank him for helping all of us out to carry out this particular presentation, giving guidance and the finer points which are affecting the entire logistic service providers, that is custom brokers, forwarders, NVOCCs, consolidators, and what care should be taken in that. Backend, the entire members of FFFAI and BCBA for their constant inputs to evolve and come up to this particular stage for formulating compliances for exports. So before I start, this was about last year that we had one session with CBIC. It was a webinar and it was on compliances. It was being discussed somewhere last November. So few of our industry friends had joined the webinar. I happened to check with few of our other friends who did not join. So I asked them, why aren't you joining this particular important webinar? It's regarding compliances, understanding of law, regulations, and the procedures, whether we are undertaking our processes backend are compliant or not. Friends being friends, so the app came the reply. Exports is very easy to handle compared to imports. We are handling exports. So we are not that much worried about compliances. And that is where I told them, it set me off thinking. I discussed the same with our committee, first in BCBA and then in FFFAI under leadership of Shankar Bhai. He guided us that yes, this is the time where we need to urgently formulate a presentation, a guidance session for all our members in for exports. So we did the same backend at BCBA and FFFAI both for our members, was discussing the same with Mr. Shantanu Bhatkamkarji, and he said that no, this is most vital. Last 24 months, all of us have gone through some notices, some shokos, some inquiry pertaining to exports, and we came across idea that yes, we need to work this out on priority. And in our taxation committee in AMTOI, Arunji was the one to push us, and then came Priyaji. She said, okay, yes, let's get ahead, and that's how we've come across this presentation. So we'll first go back before I get Mr. Shimali sir on for seeking his guidance. There are some important checks and balances which we need to work out internally. So what are the checks and verifications that we need to work out? First and foremost, as logistic service providers, as custom brokers, as forwarders, as if you are issuing your bill of lading, what we need to know that who is the exporter, because he is the fulcrum around whom the entire export transaction is being carried out. What is the product he is exporting? What is the kind of know the transaction? What is the transaction he is entering into? Whether it's he's claiming drawback, he's claiming any export incentives, he's showing the remittance, or he's showing that as free of charge. What is his establishment? Is he a company? Is he a partnership firm? Is he a LLP? Is he a proprietorship company? Is he a trust? These are various checks and balances which you can verify, which will come on the subsequent slides and discuss them in detail. Checking the digital verification modes is very crucial. This is the present day advantage that all of us have as a logistics service provider, as a custom broker, as a forwarder, as a entity where we are issuing our BL, that what this exporter is. We can verify it digitally. We'll come to it in the subsequent. And finally, the country of destination. This matters a lot, friends. There are, in the customs EDI system, there are high-risk countries, middle-risk countries, and low-risk countries. So it is very crucial that business that you are handling is destined, the transaction is destined to which country. And if it is among the high-risk countries, your scrutiny levels, your compliance levels should be that much more stringent. And if you are in doubt, learn to say no for that particular transaction and return back the papers back to exporter or wherever you got the papers from. Carrying out of KYC. This comes from CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxation and Customs circular. It's a mandatory requirement. Now we'll learn further down in our program today that verification of identity has also been incorporated in Section 99B of Customs Act, and it covers up entire set of logistic players. Ideally, communication, if you are handling custom clearance and issuing your own document for transport, please ensure that your communication, your knowledge about your exporters, antecedents, everything is known to you personally. Do not enter a transaction if it is in via me, if he has been referred from here and there, unless you are sure and confident about the exporter you are handling. Be careful. Next, if the exporter, this transaction has been referred to you by few of your other friends or other service providers like your forwarder or your overseas agent, please ensure in such circumstances also establish link for communication regarding this transaction and take an authorization. Commercially, it may sound bit far-fetched, but the way compliances have become stringent, it is very essential that you are in direct communication for the export transaction. Obtain authorization to handle the work. Next, verification of exporter. Where is he registered with? If he is a company, register of companies, it's a partnership outfit, register of firms, where you will get entire details about directors, partners, owners, and you will come to know a lot of digital trail of that particular organization. The next which comes in is import-export code number details. It's available on IEC, DGFT site. The next is exporter premises details, which is registered then when you are handling that transaction on GST portal. Please ensure that you save this particular screenshot, or it may sound a bit conventional, but take a printout, keep it in the file, that when you handle that transaction, what was the exporter's premises which was registered at that point of time in GST portal. Keep it there with you. It will be a very valuable piece of paper in case of any demand, show cause notice issued, or any investigation being done at a later stage, post shipment. Next, check whether exporter has filed GSTR 1, 2A, 3B, 9, 9C. These are again very important transactions. Friends, we have compiled these details after going through what our members have gone through it. That when customs verifies, when they carry out the investigation, when they prepare the show cause notice, when they prepare the investigation report, what are the factors customs will check about the exporter? And this is what we have put up to you, that please check these details when you are handling an export transaction. This is very crucial. Next come checking exporter premises details, GST and factory stuffing address if applicable. If it's a factory stuff container, checking his factory stuffing permission, what premises he has registered under factory stuffing permission is crucial. If it's an old permission, or if he's forwarding you an old previous shipping bill to this effect, please ensure whichever part of the country his factory or premises is registered, get it verified. It is worth it. Whatever may be the cost, but for your long-term peace, it's very important. Finally, when you get a document in your office, first and foremost, ask your team who's preparing shipping bill whether the product that is being exported is a prohibited product or it's a restricted product, which you can very well check with the export trade policy. And friends, that even if you are not filing a shipping bill, if you are just issuing a bill of lading, this is still worth it. It is important that you check if the goods are prohibited as per export foreign trade policy, refrain from handling that export transaction unless there is an authorization from DGFT. This is very crucial, and my request that at no point take this as a very important point. Next, we just discussed this. The next is when you're preparing the shipping bill, the HS code classification of the product, 8-digit, when you're submitting that to customs, prior to that, which drawback entry is being availed of. Take a declaration towards it, carry out e-sanction of those particular declarations, because even for 0.5% of difference, if customs comes across any deviation or any attempt to take a drawback which is not correct, our friends in the industry have got notices. And I'm sure Shimali sir is out here. Before I go on to the other day, I will request him to speak. And finally, check the country of origin before making declaration. Why I'm saying this? That lot of our friends have got into trouble. Imported products, they claim drawback under Section 75. Imported products, they claim RODTAP or MES benefits, which are available only and only to Indian manufactured goods. So first and foremost, when you are filing a shipping bill, ensure that in all cases that if export incentives are claimed, drawback is claimed, RODTAP is claimed, or any export benefits are claimed, take a declaration that the goods are manufactured in India. Then you are declaring thereafter in the shipping bill and submitting to customs. Don't claim, if you are in doubt, don't claim any export incentive. There are lot of instances where show cause notices are issued in such cases for our members. These are the instances. I will just run them through and thereafter request Shimali sir to elaborate and guide us for a few minutes on this. The recent ones which we have compiled them are fraudulent and dubious exporters. Exporters not being in existence, the notices are received after 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. Nobody is able to trace the exporters. SCOMET related goods being exported without authorization from SCOMET. And this is a very serious issue because there have been complaints which have come from overseas. And customs have issued notices not only to exporter and custom broker, but also to the entities who have issued the bill of lading, consolidators, NBOCCs, carriers, everybody. Next, obligation of CBL are not being followed, like authorization, KYC is not being done. overvaluation of goods, export incentives claimed but inward remittances not being received, export incentives wrongly being claimed, hazardous cargo being handled without proper authorization and without carrying out their processes, radioactive substances, radioactive products, narcotic substances being handled without authorizations, even cases where logistic service providers not knowing the exporters at all. And finally, LEO date greater than sailing date. These have been the recent show cause notices which have been given. So before I move further, Shivali sir, we request your kind presence on the screen. Please guide us that what our friends who are here, the audience today are custom brokers, forwarders, who are AMTOI members, who are IATA holders, who are issuing their own bill of lading, and they are multimodal transport operators also. So what precautions should we take, and what are the pitfalls if we don't do that, sir? And what are the kind of show cause notices which have been issued? Over to you, Shimali sir.
Can we request Mr. Srimali to switch on the?
Yeah, please, Mr. Srimariji. Sir, can you just switch on the camera and request you to kindly. Mr. Srimariji.
So Shrimati, you should just give a call, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, till we get back to Mr. Srimaliji, there was a very important things which Mr. Dushyant Mulani has presented. And just to recap, I think so we all should take the importance of this presentation. First thing what came out was learn to say no. Means you should be good enough to say no, and wherever you feel that no, it is not possible or it is something wrong, you should say no, and also alert our colleagues, custom brokers across the industry, the stakeholders, and inform so that at least they don't fall into such type of services. Second thing, when it comes to KYC, where Dushyant has really said, I think so. My members take cognizance of the issues. Initial stage, they will be with you, employing everything services with you. Slowly, one by one, they will start withdrawing one. Maybe for the sake of transportation, they will say your transportation is high. We will do our own transportation, which will be beyond your control. You do not have any control on such type of transportation mode. And you will only say that, okay, my work is only booking, so I am not concerned about what is in the container. The custom broker will say, I am only doing clearance, so I have no. But when it comes to inquiry and investigation, we all will start playing important role in providing these answers about the due diligence. So don't get into such type of transaction which is beyond your control or which is out of your control. Unless and until you have an exporter doing his own transportation, or you have a declaration that a transportation is done directly by the exporter in your hand. So such type of contract should have explicit written proofs with you while you are putting it across to the customs. Second thing, even the exporter feels, he says that it is being done by the consignee, and the consignee appoints his transporter directly from there. We are under impression it is the exporter who has appointed the transporter, but the fact doesn't remain over there. And then when it comes to investigation, nobody is aware of who is doing what. And that is the time when it becomes difficult to answer such type of question to the customer as to what due diligence you have taken. When you go to such type of transporter, you have nil details about it. You are not aware of that whole transaction. You are not aware of the transporter from whom you have received the container. So please take note of such type of issues. When you are offloading any custom cleared containers in any of the private yard, it's a wrong thing. You have to have it in the notified areas, or you have to have it intimated to the customs immediately. due to some emergency, we try to just seek that there is no detention charges, and we offload the containers at any of the yards, which is a wrong thing. It may not be explicitly written in the law, but when it comes to investigation, all such type of questions arise, and it may keep you into trouble. Have all these stages photographs, like from stuffing till the end. If the containers are reopened, see that it is done with the photographs, it is done with the videographs, because nowadays such photographs will play a very important role in proving a due diligence in the whole system. One important aspect what Mr. Dushan Mulani has brought to your notice, SCOMET, don't limit yourself stating that the SCOMET is only applicable for chemical. My dear friends, let me tell you, there are also engineering products which are listed in this SCOMET list. Please look into those lists, engineering product or any such product which adds to the final product which can affect this SCOMET. I think so you should be able to identify such type of things. Also the softwares which are used to prepare all such type of equipments are also falling under the SCOMET. So don't be under the impression that only chemicals will come under this and I have no role to play because I am not handling chemicals. Come out of that illusion that it is none of my business. So please get into the details. We already had one SCOMET webinar for our members in detail. It is available on our FFFAI website to get into the detailing of this SCOMET, how it has to be viewed, what are the cognizance to be taken to view this SCOMET into detail, and how the references are be done with regard to the convention being held at the international level. So kindly go to such type of webinars which are already recorded and put on the FFFAI website for the members to view and study and learn from time to time with the updates. Do we have Mr. Srimaliji on the line?
So he's just got a message that Chief Commissioner has come there on an urgent visit, and the export team has been called there urgently. So
Right.
once he's back from the Chief Commissioner, he'll join. So we'll start ahead on this.
Go ahead.
So, friends, first and foremost, regarding KYC and verification, we will take you through what are the important aspects under verification of identity. We will first go there on that particular page where section 99B of Customs Act is now very clear. There is a notification 41 of 2021. It's a non-tariff notification, and you can see what are the important documents which customs will require when they are carrying out invoking this verification of identity and compliance regulation 2021. It's very important. This has been incorporated under section 99B. So I'll just request friends that way it is declared in serial 4, I will come to that. Friends, please go through this. This will be all the different document that we are discussing right now will be shared with members. I'm sure Priya ma'am will and Arun sir will have them shared with all members of AMTOI. FFFAI will be doing so, and so will BCBA will be doing this. These are the documents which department is relying on. So it is important, all the more important for all of us to ensure that when we are handling a new exporter, please take these documents. This list will be shared. This is a statutory requirement as given under notification. We'll come to the next. That if these are not done, what are the kind of show cause notices which are issued? Well, I'll first come to the SCOMET one. Sorry, this is yeah. Come on this. Yes. Yes. So take it. So here you can see that. Go ahead. uh, a custom broker and logistic service provider was handling SCOMET related items. He was not aware about the fact whether the items are covered under SCOMET or not. We are going to share after this particular uh, webinar a DGFT notification. Please keep it with your team that they are handling shipping bill and export transactions, who are issuing bill of lading, to check whether item falls under SCOMET list or not. Here, the items which were there were covered under SCOMET, shipping bill file, went in for examination in shed. The shed officer gave the late export order. Goods go to the foreign country. From the foreign country, alert comes to Indian Customs, CBIC. CBIC hands this over to NCTC, which is National Center for Target, and there NCTC alerted the stations from where export has taken place. Resultantly, officer who gave the late export order gets memo. Custom broker, the forwarder, exporter, everybody in the entire chain get this particular show cause notice. Some of the licenses, CB licenses were also suspended, and it became a very big issue. At least 129 entities, which we've come to know, which were reported to us, had got the show cause notices. Now, when a show cause notice is issued, yes, logically we can say that we were not aware and we filed the shipping bill. Logically, we can say that we were not aware, the exporters gave the papers, they came to us for booking and we issued a bill of lading. Now, to undo that, going through the process of giving explanations, replying to show cause, going through the hearing process, coming out of that, if it is referred to custom broker section, policy sections, it's a very stressful time that our friends in the industry have gone through. It is worthwhile that keep a statutory notification ready with your team, that as and when they get any export transaction, to verify it with SCOMET list, whether it is appearing in that or not. And if it is yes, without authorization, do not handle these shipments, because it can have repercussions internationally. And friends, last week I had two of the forwarders whom we are right now helping them out legally. The shipments have gone to, one shipment has gone to Spain, other has gone to New York, and it is lying there in that country, impounded by the authorities, incurring cost, detention and demurrage charges in hundreds of $1,000s. They are unable to do anything without SCOMET authorization, nor able to get the goods back. Exporter is not willing to help out the forwarders, and they are stuck because they had issued the document of transport, that is bill of lading and AV bill. So it's so much important for all of us. We'll go to the next, where obligation of CBLR are not met. And here, this is the example where we are stuck up for our members. Here, this is the case where you can see that it's a valuation case and the exporter and the broker have been implicated. From our side, BCBA has represented very strongly that for valuation cases, custom broker are not to be implicated. Fortunately, the representations have been very well received and show causes have been dropped against custom brokers. But only in the cases where the broker has taken the proper authorizations from exporters. You can see this particular operative aspect of the show cause notice, that maintaining records and ensuring that verification of the exporters whereabouts and getting the checklist of the shipping bill approved, keep them in record. This is going to help us, however strong your case may be, but keeping these papers digitally, keep them digitally. They will be useful for you, all of us rather, to reply to this particular show cause notices. This will help us to strengthen our stand in front of authorities as and when we have an inquiry coming up. At whatever cost and resources, this is the most crucial aspect, and our earnest request to all of you, please maintain this. We'll go to the next. What do we have to do in such cases? How do we proceed ahead? We want to come out because the provisions which are there are quite stringent. We don't want custom brokers, logistics service providers to go through these. What are the checks that would be prudent for all of us to keep? And this is where we come to this slide. Friends, if you are handling dangerous and has cargo, please ensure that each and every paper as mentioned in IMDG and IATA regulations are followed to the last T. Not only as mentioned to all of you, for has cargo, dangerous cargo, radioactive, narcotics, lot of our friends are handling pharma exports. Pharma exports is one of the major export segments which our friends are handling. And in that, lot of products require this narcotic drugs and psychopatric substances permissions. Please keep copy of that. Even if you are not filing a shipping bill, even if you are just doing transport and issuing your own bill of lading, these are very crucial documents. Keep them in your records. Digitally, you may keep them, but it should be available to you as and when required. If you are filing shipping bills, ensure these permits, the dangerous good declarations, material safety data sheets, certificate of analysis, everything should be uploaded in e-Sanchit, without which do not handle the shipment. And this is coming out of our experience past 24 months. where our friends in the industry have undergone lot of stress while dealing with this particular the kind of investigations which have taken place. SCOMET we have discussed. PGA NOCs, participating government agencies NOCs. Lot of products which require drug controller permissions, CDSCO licenses, permits, Wildlife Crime Control Bureau for leather products or animal products which require animal quarantine, plant quarantine. Please ensure, friends, that compliances of these participating government agencies are very crucial. And that piece of paper where you take no objection, because across the country, some stations are still following manual permissions to these agencies. And it is very crucial that whether it's an online NOC or a manual permission, whatever format it may be, as a service provider, when you are processing your shipment, please train your staff not to carry out any shortcuts in this, because sometimes our staff, because of urgency factor or some other factor, they try and push the shipments through. Please refrain from it. Do not handle any shipments or process them through customs unless these NOCs are obtained. And as I mentioned therein, please keep NOC taken from these PGA agencies, participating government agencies, in your digital dockets of your ERP, or if you have not developed digital dockets, keep them, take a print and keep them manually. Because any audits taking place subsequently, any notices or investigation reports coming in, these are documents which will help us to sail through these investigations or reply to the show cause notices in a very proper and compliant manner. The next, for all of us, is a very important aspect. Filing of accurate EGM details which incorporate shipping bill details, container number details, the dates are very crucial. Any slight mistake in digits or details can lead to EGM mismatch. And EGM mismatch, once it's done, your export incentive of your clients will be held up for a long time. And friends, we have represented this issue to CBIC because without carrying out amendment, your EGM will not be rectified. And way the customs EDI system stands at present, if EGM is filed, no details therein can be amended. It gets sealed. After 1st July 2017, the day GST was implemented, in order to ensure that GST refunds are not claimed in any manner post shipment, there is a barrier in EDI system. CBIC has been represented on this aspect, but that's a separate issue. Lot of our friends in AMTOI, FFFAI BCBA are facing issues from their client because of this aspect. For AMTOI friends who are issuing their document, multimodal MTO document BL, ensure that you carry out these checks at the time of filing of EGM. Because once EGM is filed in customs, rectification is not possible. Likewise, claims which are coming right now, few of the locations they are allowing on manual basis post shipment. We will share few of these case laws in a day or two for our friends. The next comes e-way bill formalities under GST. We handle a lot of transport on behalf of our exporters. It so happens that for some reason or the other, lot of cases will come to fore where e-way bill was not generated in the proper manner. They have picked up the goods from clients, stored it in warehouse of the service provider. Our members have stored in their warehouses. The e-way bill shows destination of customs, whether it's, for example, Nhava Sheva or El Cargo Complex Mumbai or Delhi or some ICD, whether the goods actually have traveled to the warehouse of our members. And this has created a lot of issues whenever there is a flying squad of GST coming up, verifying documents, and they have landed into a lot of issues. Some of them even financially, it has affected our members. So please be careful on these checks. So friends, these are important aspects which you need to go through. And I'll come to one more important aspects where at the time of examination of export consignments for certain category of goods, a special care needs to be taken. These are category of goods where when we are presenting them to customs, there have been instances where friends of our members have brought in the consignment in export, presented the goods for exports. However, they have not carried out export examination as required as per the kind of transaction way it was required to be. Few of the transactions, even if your shipping bill is facilitated under RMS, it is important that that we carry out examination as per the scheme which is there. For temporary exports, even if it is under RMS, ensure to carry out 100% examination, because your bond and bank guarantees which you furnished or the notification that you claimed at the time of import, or if you are re-exporting the imported goods back, bonds that you've given, you need to cancel them with customs. Ensure that these are carried out, 100% examination is carried out. Third country exports, ATA carnets. ATA carnets require detailed examination at the time of re-export to close the carnet form with customs. Section 74 export, where you are going to claim drawback on imported goods. Please examine the same under the DC shared supervision. Advance authorization and EPCG shipments, they require certain kind of endorsement. Please take that. PGA NOCs, and if you've taken, upload them in the e-Sanchit. So these are few important aspects you need to take at the time of exports. I think more or less we have touched base all aspects where last few months, last 24 months that our members have undergone some issues. We've combined, taken care of each and every those issues and presented to them. And I'm sure, Priya ma'am, over to you for any Q&A.
Thank you very much for that fantastic session, sir. A really knowledgeable one. We are flooded with questions that shows that people were really attentive. And I'm not too sure if we'll be able to take all the questions, but let me just show it on the screen and we can take one by one. In the meanwhile, is DC Mr. Srimali in? Do we want to see if he's in?
No, he's still with the chief commissioner. I've got a message from him. Once he's free, and he's agreed to do a separate session that how to handle such kind of investigations or everything in one space. Maybe next month we can have him on with us, and he'll be happy to do that. He's still with chief commissioner and commissioner for some urgent matter. Yeah,
Okay.
let's go to these questions.
Also, Priya, just a request. There are a lot of questions I saw in the Q&A box which are not related to compliance. They are very generic questions. So please ignore those and just stick to the compliance related questions, please.
Yes, Arunji, very correct. So,
So there are, Arunji, as of now, I've just copy pasted all the questions. There are almost about 35 odd questions which had also come earlier. We can choose which ones to respond now and then later on send email responses to all participants on all the questions which they have sent.
Fair enough. For this session, Dushan bhai, please
yes.
take the call.
Yeah, so let's go to the first one, AD code validation, how it is to be done. Surely, the person here is Mr. Soumya. Surely we will send across the public notices for AD code validation, what needs to be done. Next, we'll go to Mr. Anirudh Roy. He said that authorization from, yes, if it's possible, take authorization. If not, ensure that you are authorized by the service provider who's given you that transaction to handle. Please take it on email. It will help you. Next, we'll go what is say some of the better laws or tools to make shipping lines accountable. So, Mr. Atul Nahar, I think you need to be shipping lines have their own accountability as per the Customs Act, and they are following the same. We can go offline and take in there. Mr. Preetham Gowde, this is to ensure that exporter that you are handling, the client you are handling, is a compliant exporter or not. It will come, it is not part of CBLR, but whenever there is an investigation, what are the factors they check? And this will help you before you take a client, whether he is a compliant client or not, whether he is filing his GST returns in time, what is his compliance check under GST, it will help you. The next will go Mr. Milind Nemade. We can claim export benefit when input material is imported in India. Yes, export incentive, then it's a purely manufactured item in India. Your input materials can be imported, but your final product, as long as your factory has manufactured in India, it's fine, you can claim. Next, one is having an equipment which is malfunction and under warranty. The supplier who is willing to repair free of charge. The shipper is asking whether this can be under, yes, you can export under GR waiver, go across to your exporter's authorized dealer bank, take a GR waiver, they will take all the correspondences and you can export under GR waiver. We would like to format of declaration from exporter for toward indigenous manufactured goods. Yes, Mr. Hiten Saddev, if the goods have undergone manufacturing, documents are already there. You can very well take a declaration or a write-up in this regard and keep it with your format. What is the manufacturing process he has undergone? Particularly, under advance authorization and EPCG, that declaration are already there, which we are furnishing to customs. The next, Mr. Kunal, is there any ruling how much profit an exporter can claim? Guidelines for checking valuation of. So here, export valuation, custom valuation rules for export 2007 are very explicit. If it's Indian manufactured good, it's the manufacturer will know his own profit margin. But if an import goods are being re-exported, definitely any rational margin of profit is allowed by customs. Next, Mr. Pawan, can we take export incentives on export which has been imported with payment of custom duty? Strictly no. The goods as it is cannot be exported under Section 75 drawback or RODTEP. Only drawback available to this is under Section 74. Please read Section 74 of Customs Act. It is very clear. It is showing any doubts, please revert back. We will clarify them to you. Vinodji, you are very correct in this. For ICDs, there are a lot of
EGM.
EGM errors which has led to hold up of export incentives. And in this regard, as you are aware, FFFAI has made this representation to CBIC that EGM at ICD should be considered as final. And that's where we have covered up in our presentation also that as a forwarder or the airline, we need to be clear and absolutely accurate in our parameters that we feed for EGM. We'll come to next. We have been claiming RODTEP but not drawback for imported goods. And there are few taxes. Please go through RODTEP scheme. It's available to Indian manufactured goods. Go through them. Any doubts, please revert back. Mr. Avinash Rane, if SCOMET list of temporary export project and re-importing back after completion, whether such export requires authorization and license, the answer in capital is yes. There are under SCOMET, DGFT has issued various circulars. Please go through them for temporary exports and re-imports. Please go through them. If you don't find, please get back to the Secretariat. We will furnish them. Exporters ought to know themselves also, because if they are dealing, having a business transaction under this, they need to have their own understanding of SCOMET rules. Soumya, again, here, please can you differentiate between consolidator and freight forwarder, CHA? As an AMTOI member, if you are issuing your document, it's a separate issue, or if you are just a freight forwarder, issuing your own or just doing the freight booking, there are differentiations. And broker, custom broker, you know that if we are filing the bill of shipping bill or bill of entry, we are the custom brokers. Mr. Manina, we are facing issues to get IGST refund from exporters. The case is a DG board with error code SB005. Please go across to your place where you exported, custom station. There is a section who are XOS section, XOS DPK section who are dealing with SB005 errors. If it's SB000, they need to write to GS10 in that case. Mark Fernandez is a legend in the industry. He's mentioned that when a shipping file issues letter to offload container at the nominated empty yards and the same is done, do CB need to safeguard this? How does CB protect themselves? I would request our chairman, Mr. Shankar Shinde, to deal with this question.
Shipping lines containers are cleared under their bond. It is their responsibility to ensure it is re-exported within the period of 6 months or take the renewal from time to time. And wherever they have given us the offloading container, that is our duty and not beyond that. So once we offload that containers, we give them the receipt, it's already available. You have to have that depository of that container MTR into your system or into your custody, and that should be suffice to have your the containers are returned to shipping line. Then it becomes a shipping line responsibility to have it exported or pay duty on the containers.
Yeah. We'll go to the next, Mr. Dilip Bhatt. Most of work handled by custom brokers are through forwarders and not directly by exporters. Exporters need to be educated through state forums. So, sir, I would say that point number one, uh, majority of work is still being handled directly by custom brokers from exporters and importers. This is the requirement as per section 146 of Customs Act. And as per CBLR, we are supposed to take the authorization from exporters, and hence it's a statutory requirement. Time and again we have circulated this. Whenever you are getting a work from your friends or other service providers, please ensure that you take that authorization from exporters. It is in our interest that we know the exporters. Next, Mr. Krishnan Natarajan, how is overseas? CB is not responsible for overseas payment. We have clarified, we have represented that for valuation purpose, there are case laws also now we have circulated to our members. In case if you have any show cause notices in this regard, we will have it circulated through FFFAI BCBA and AMTOI in this regard, that we are not responsible for any valuation related issues of importer or for exporters. Mr. Vinod Sharma, I think your point is also covered up in this. We will be circulating the case laws. Mr. Milind Neva, is it mandatory for manufacturer having self-sealing permission to intimate customs in advance regarding stuffing of the container, or such intimation to be submitted to the forwarder CHF? Please take these permissions with you. Regarding intimation, the governing circulars 41 of 2017 is already there. There are public notices issued by JNCH already, which will be circulating to you. Next, Mr. Krishnan Natarajan, it is important. We are not responsible at all. We are saying that to check the compliance standard of your exporter, ensure that you go through them. You will come to know whether your exporter is compliant or non-compliant and whether to handle that client or not. This is for your own reference. We are not responsible out here. The next is Mr. Prabhakar Boy, ADC is a generic this thing. Next, Sanket Kayani, challenges faced for open examination. It's a procedural issues. Mr. Rajesh Verma, complaint required for exporting branded goods, Maggi noodles or MDH style after renting them from obtaining
Buying
them
them from open market.
buying them from open market. Sir, in this, we don't, as a custom broker, we have no role unless as long as you are declaring the item correctly, there are no IPR related issues for exports. There are, as long as you declare the goods correctly, there are no prohibitions on these items at least. So Vibhor Anand, customs, export, air, ocean, tag pertaining to aerospace, aviation, that's not related to this particular webinar. The next is export FFFAI It's a generic, I'm not able to make out what, but FFFAI is not applicable for exports. The next, which is also available on their website. In case if somebody is holding up, please convey emphatically that FSSI provision are not available for exports. Export for third country, the query is not given. Third country exports are allowed. Prashant Salvi, export section 727 process, not part of this webinar. Next, Mr. Aditya Devurkar, for export shipment, especially ready-made garments, when the exporter is claiming export incentives, sir, drawback, Rostel, please confirm Made in India should be affixed on the cargo. If you are claiming some incentives for Made in India, documentary proof should be made available that these goods have been manufactured in India. Because these benefits are not available for export of imported items. Mastan Sheikh, Incoterms.
So all these questions which have come, they've come before at the time of registration. So these questions are more like they want to know what is the export compliance related to such and such things. So wherever,
Yes.
yeah.
Is the health permission for tea premix? I think for any food related item which is linked to milk powder, you require AQ permissions. Please go across to AQ website, you'll get the answer. Is next, Mr. Ruben, it is important to classify as cargo to be put through scanning. It is also affect, it's very true. I think it's more of an advice than a question. Next, Mr. Binny, need clarification on applicability of GST or LUT? Yes. Yes, need clarification on applicability of GST, forwarders, billing, overseas agent, import. These compliances have already been clarified. We'll share this notification with you. Faisullah, it's too generic. Please connect for it. Any next question? Priyaji? Product restricted for export and advance authorization obtained. Which states export product receive? Would you still additionally need? No, if it's if you have obtained advance authorization, so as well called DEC advance license, then you don't need any restricted license. RCMC required for customs examiner. I think that is required case to case basis. Risk mitigation for non-acceptance of delivery at destination. Please here, it's important, Naisha Nasher, that get into your contracts with your exporter very diligently. These are few aspects. For non-acceptance of delivery at the destination, get into proper contracts, contractual term with your exporter in black and white. This will save you. ROV underwater survey equipment.
Can you expand on it, Dushyant, because it's a very critical issue for MTOs or particular.
Yes. Sure, Shantanu. Risk mitigation for non-acceptance of delivery at the destination. Your consignment, process the shipment, it is sailed and reach the destination. Overseas buyer is not coming out for claiming the goods there. Ensure that when you enter into a contract with your client in India, that in such situations, your contract locally should be signed, accepted in such a manner, and should have a clause that in your responsibility as a service provider should get terminated when the goods reach the overseas destination. Please put this clause in your contracts in bold and capital norms. Because lot of our friends are undergoing this stress where exporter is raising his hand that I am not responsible for any deliberate detentions. Please ensure this because this is going to save you. And if it's a door delivery, DDP or DD, you
Not
ensure
just in
that
India, all over the world, there have been big cases against big lines by garment exporters and others. And there are big decisions from Singapore and UK courts on these matters.
yes, very true. And not only that, lot of our Indian service providers, logistics service providers had faced this issue during Russia-Ukraine conflict. Some of the
Arun, please draft it and circulate. Make a small draft and please circulate for everybody to consider.
yes,
Sir, we're
It's a
working on
valid-
it. In fact, we are just drafting a complete set of, terms and conditions for everybody's reference.
Yeah, but see, sometimes when we wait for 100 things to do together, it takes too long. We can go one by one. These are critical issues. And here the criticality is then the amount is in 10s and 20 and 40 and 50 crores, particularly for the high volume exporters.
True, sir. Working on it, sir.
next, Avinashi, this is a survey, underwater survey imported under Indian company now are being exported to Saudi for after completion of project. Same are re-imported India. In such case, exporter, if they are covered under SCOMET list, please go through them issued by DGFT. And yes, if it is applicable, answer is yes. Next, Philu ma'am, these are pertaining to imports. When we please connect with us offline, we will answer to your queries and we have a good reply for you. Next, we'll go to Mr. Vipul Singh. Process to get PGA certificate. Can you go down a bit, Priya ma'am? Process to get PGA certificate. Which PGA? Any PGA, if your goods are covered, please ensure. Next, ECL is pertaining to import, so we can't take in this particular question set. Next,
I'll stop the questions here. There are, of course, 19 more, rather many more questions, and it'll keep going on. But a fantastic session, and I mean, the number of questions says that how wonderful the session was. People were attentive enough, and we still have almost about 285 people who are online attending for the past 1.5 hours. So we've not made them sleep as well. So thank you so much. Over to Shantanu sir for some closing remarks. And
I think the attendance credit is entirely to Shankar and Dushyant. Your name carries a lot, so we will expect more sessions from you. In fact, while we planned and just before the meeting, I said, this is a big issue, big topic and of livelihood to people. So maybe we will have follow-up sessions. Arun and Priya ensure that we have follow-up sessions. 2 of them are busy. So we have to see that we catch hold of them and get them for the session. I would say that when we say we had over 300, in my office, in fact, for almost every terminal, there are 5 or 6 people sitting in meeting room or conference room. So the real attendance will be much above that. So
yes,
that's a very encouraging kind of gesture from members. So that will help us to do more for the members. Lastly, I would just add emphasis to what Dushyant says, because we were all interacting. Government is now very strict on governance matters. And we are the, what we can say, what is called fall guys or scapegoats. Big ones, nobody can take auction. small ones always get ignored. So we are the right size for them to take strict action and make example of. Please be careful in what you do. Don't get tempted by greed and don't get tempted by fear also. Fear of losing customer, fear of financial. The consequences on all other sides are far more. With this, thanks again, Dushyant and Shankar. And it's nice you joined from the FFFAI office. Maybe next time we will try to join from AMTOI offices so that we can project our offices and our commitment to association more. And like last time for insurance, we will have answers for all the questions and we will have them circulated to all the members. Shankar and Dushyant, the insurance panel, the lawyer and insurance panel, they replied in 2 days. So that's the full mark for us. So please answer the remaining question in 2 days so that we can circulate in 48 hours. Maybe while you are still in the office, please reply them. And Priya, ensure we circulate.
So we have requests from Mr. Afzal Malabarwala. So I've put him on panel. Can I request Mr. Afzal to?
Yeah, Mr. Afzal bhai.
Shankar Bhai and Dushyant Bhai and Shantanu, it was a very, very well educative, informative session which has happened today. And I'm sure there are more sessions like this will be conducted by the team. And I would also request, since we as an ACA also a part of it, we also would like to have any type of a joint session to discuss more about the air freight forwarding. I'm not talking about the custom part of it, which I think you all people are the expert. But other than that, if there is any query or anything about regarding the air freight or anything, that we will also be happy as an association to join with the FFFAI, AMTOI and BCBA and to be a part of it. Thank you very much for having this session. And I will definitely waiting for more sessions like this to participate and, to get my people trained free of cost. Thank you.
Afzal, we will soon have that session and hold neck of Priya if you don't hear from us. She is the one responsible for it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Over to Arun.
Yeah. So, first of all, it was a very interesting and very enlightening session. I'd just like to quickly summarize as a reminder of what was discussed today. The importance of KYC under Customs Notification Non-Tariff 41/2021. It is essential for us as custom brokers to abide by and follow it to the last T, which was very clearly and very categorically mentioned. And there is no two ways about it. Secondly, there was a checklist which was shared. We will share the presentation after the session with all the members. Please go through it. It is not about what is the methodology. A lot of people in the question and answer session were asking why should we verify the GST returns? Don't verify it if you don't want to. But that's just the method of verifying the compliance of your customer. So if you have any other way to verify it, please go ahead. So it's not compulsive. It's not as per CVLR, but antecedents of your customers have to be verified as per CVLR. So if you have a better method to do it, please go ahead. Also, it was very, very clearly mentioned that we should learn as custom brokers to say no.
Can I interrupt for a second, Arun?
Sure, sir.
What we have mapped and we have seen, the GST and income tax returns indicator is a good measure for seeing our outstanding and bad debts. It is a clear indicator of what is going to happen. So I think it's a good suggestion that we verify that. And we have mapped that. I can share our mapping with people. That how one gets affected, it affects your outstanding and bad debts immediately. Please carry on, Arun.
Ultimately, it is in our favor to check it, but it is not as per CVLR. That is that's the point I was trying to make. Again, one of the very important things that we should all learn to say no. If you're not comfortable with what the customer is providing, if you're not 100% confident of the client, say no. A lot of us are scared as custom brokers. If we don't do it, somebody else will. Please, by all means, it's not worth it. Let somebody else do it. So learn to say no. I would sincerely like to thank Shankar Bhai and Dushan Bhai for wonderful session. I mean, it's as a custom broker, because most of us are wearing many hats, and almost all of us would be wearing custom brokers hat as well. So it's not just important for the freight forwarders. As a custom broker and as a freight forwarder, it is equally essential that we should know this. And it was a wonderful session, and probably we'll definitely bug you for having many more sessions. I'd also like to thank the FFFAI Secretariat, Sagar ji, Sulita ji, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I would also like to thank our team. That is, who has organized this. Shantanu sir has been our guide ever since. He's been guide not just for Shankar Bhai and Dushanji, we are all his students. So we learn a lot from him. Thank you, sir, for guiding us throughout. Priya and Vasant, you are stars in any case. So I don't have to thank you. You're part of my team. And so is the AMTOI Secretariat, who has taken a lot of pain to organize this. And I would like to state that we had over 338, the last count I saw. And as Shantanu sir mentioned, that those were the only ones who had logged in individually. But as in his office, even in my office, there are 6 people who are seeing this in the boardroom. So the visibility was much higher. So numbers actually don't matter. But it was a very important session, and I think we should have more sessions of this kind, probably enhance the knowledge of every stakeholder. So thank you very much, gentlemen. And Afzal Bhai has raised his hand.
Yeah, Afzal Bhai has raised his hand.
Mark has to join. Mark,
I just-
join if you are listening.
I just wanted to request FFFAI and AMTOI. You see, most of our members, they are not members of AMTOI. So if they permit me, once this is circulated, can I circulate among our members for such a useful thing? I just wanted to take their permission for that. Thank you, sir.
Our
Knowledge
pleasure.
has no proprietorship, so it is for everybody to share, and we are more than happy to share it with everybody.
Thanks, and also we have these webinars, recorded webinars uploaded on the site. When you require, you can always access such type of webinars, and also this comment webinar, which are very important to organize. You will get the complete insight about how the matters are taken and how the show cause notice are issued and how you have to address it.
Thank you very much.
Can I request Mr. Mark Fernandez to accept the panelist request which we've just sent? Is he available?
He just called, yeah, he's accepting.
Accepted.
You need to just promote him to panel, no, Priya?
Yeah, I have done that, but then it comes as a pop-up and he's supposed to accept it. I think now he's done. Just a minute. Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Mark, over to you. You may unmute yourself.
Yeah. So Mr. Mark Fernandez is heading IMC Indian Merchant Chamber. He's a chairman of the Logistic and Shipping Committee. So as always, he's always there forefront along with Shantanu to take trade issues with customs. And wherever it is, he's been the voice of the trade for a very long time, like Shantanu. So over to you, Mark. Yeah.
Good evening, Shankar, Chairman FFFAI, Dushan, Chairman-elect, colleagues of FFFAI, Shantanu of AMTOI, colleagues of AMTOI, and all our colleagues of custom brokers and AMTOI who are on the platform. Hearty congratulations. It's a wonderful webinar which makes very clear what role CBs, AMTOI, and service providers need to do or need to preventive action to prevent action from the so-called power of authorities. Custom brokers are the easiest a scapegoat for every fraud that happens in our country in the agreement industry. And this webinar actually enables all custom brokers to take cognizance of what needs to be done by ourselves to prevent ourselves being exploited. Over the last 2 years, we have been working tirelessly, getting the Indian agreement industry to continue, the economy to flourish, but not one trade body, not one, excepting CBIC, nobody has recognized the work done by the forwarders and the custom brokers. We always get blamed negatively, but we must look at how we have to safeguard ourselves. Shankar, Dushan, Shantanu, thank you for organizing this. I also learned a lot, but in our field, it's always a learning experience. Every day, you may clear the same consignment, but you get new objections. So, all my colleagues who are young there in the field and the Gen Next, don't get disheartened, don't get depressed with all the compliances that need to be followed. So long as you don't take shortcuts and don't try to run after money, I can assure you, you will be safe. Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone. Thank you all the panelists, and we'll stop the seminar now. Thank you.